Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Making materials accessible. First steps, iOS and Chrome. So this session will talk about how you're going to make materials accessible on both the iOS and Chrome. So as we go through, you're going to notice that the Chromebooks will have this kind of style, or apps and solutions for Chromebook will have this style. You'll notice in the upper hand corner there'll be Chrome. If I'm talking about iOS, if you look at your handout, you'll look at the bottom of the screen and you'll see the picture of an iPad. There are a lot more resources in the handout for this session than we're going to cover today. A lot more because making materials accessible, there are a lot of supports for that. There are a lot of materials out there that I'm just not going to be able to cover in this session, but I wanted you to have the information. So the handout, again, has many, many more resources than we're just going to be able to cover in this session. So when we talk about Chromebook, with the Chromebook is a laptop type of device that runs Chrome OS, which is the operating system for Chrome. It's typically designed, or it is designed, to be used with while connected to the internet. It is most of the applications and documents live in the cloud, so that's where you're going to access all of your information. And the apps are optimized for Google Apps, so it's really made to support, and it revolves around the Google Apps suite. The nice thing about Chromebooks is they do have exceptional battery life. Usually 2 to 4 gigs of memory and 16 gigabytes of hard drive space. So when we talk about all of these devices, one of the key components of those devices are those accessibility tools that are built into the operating systems of all of the devices. Those will allow us, once we get something into a digital format, will allow students to be able to access it. So it's very important that you understand and you know where a lot of those accessibility features are. So Android really has a lot of accessibility features that are available. From a TalkBack, which is a screen reader, the ability to be able to enlarge text and modify text. You have support for captioning. There's some of the Android devices have support for switch control. Most of them have some sort of a capability for hearing aid compatibility, as well as other supports. Chromebook accessibility. There are a lot of features that are available in Chromebook. So you want to show the accessibility options within the system menu. You can enable spoken feedback, enable high contrast. There's a screen magnifier if you need to turn that on. Tap dragging for students who may have motor issues, to be able to drag things around without having to tap and drag them across the screen. Chromebook, which is a text-to-speech feedback tool. And then there's also Braille support for Google Docs, slides, and drawings. So other accessibility features: large cursor, sticky keys, tap dragging, automatic click, on-screen keyboards, mono sound, highlight text by a caret, highlighting the mouse cursor. A lot of those real standard laptop and desktop accessibility features are built into the Chromebook also. There's a keyboard focus or a highlight an object, so a student who may lose their place on the screen will be able to get back to that. To get to Chromebook accessibility, you're going to go to Customize and Control, Settings, and Show Advanced Settings, and there's an Accessibility tab in there where you're going to get to these accessibility features. The iPad also has a wide range of accessibility features that are built right into the operating system. Of course, text-to-speech, the ability to be able to highlight text anywhere on the screen, switch control, a magnifier, assistive touch, so there's touch accommodations, guided access, which will lock a student into an app or to a program and will not allow them to get out, so it helps them focus. There's scheduling and reminders, there's Siri shortcuts, just a whole lot of accessibility features that are built into the operating system. So it really is important that you kind of look and find where those accessibility features and expose the students to those across the operating systems. On the iOS side, speak selection is off when you get the device, but you want to turn that on, so you're going to go into speak settings, accessibility, spoken content, and speak selection, and turn that on. Then anywhere that you can highlight text within the operating system, typically you can have that read back to you. The same thing with speak screen. Sometimes students with motor issues can't don't it's very difficult for them to highlight text and drag the carrots around to highlight text. Speak screen just allows them to swipe down from the top of the screen and have the whole screen read to them. Reader is a function of Safari that will allow you to be able to strip out all that unnecessary information and just focus on the content. It strips out ads and links and those types of things that may be distracting for students. And you'll find that in the upper left-hand corner of the URL bar when a page loads up. Turning on closed captioning, there's a lot of customizations you can do that. Closed captioning, of course, will help students who are deaf and hard of hearing, but it also is a cognitive support for a lot of students. They rely on the captioning to be able to help understand a little bit better, and as another support, like I said, a cognitive support. So I would turn that closed captioning on, so any one of your videos that has captioning will show up. Third-party keyboards is a really nice tool that allows you to provide supports once you get your information in a digital format. And you can load those up by going to Settings, General, Keyboards, and you're going to select Keyboards, and I'll show you that in a second. So there's, on the iOS side, there's Keybook, Keydogo, Keydogo Plus, and Super Keys. Swipe, Text Expander, MyScript Stack, Read and Write for the iPad, just to name a few. On the Chrome side, Comfort On, Google Input Tools, Virtual Keyboard, Online Keyboard, as well as Loderi. So again, if I want to get into that, all I have to do is go to General, go into Keyboards, and you notice I have two keyboards loaded at this point. I do have a third-party one loaded in there at this point, but if I want to add another one that I've downloaded, I just tap on Add New Keyboard, and you'll see all those third-party keyboards that I may have loaded up or I've downloaded and opened up on my iPad, and they automatically populate here. So let me go into, let's go to Keybook. I'm going to add that, and I'll add English. Done. You notice that's in my list now. Now if I go into an app and I want to start typing, this is my typical keyboard, but in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see there's a little key that has a world sign on it. If I tap on there, it's going to flip me between those keyboards that I may have loaded up. So you'll see that it'll keep on flipping between the keyboards. If I want, I can actually hold on to that button, and I can actually swipe between the keyboards at that point too. So I'll go back to my English keyboard. So there are a lot of really nice supports for third-party keyboards. A nice thing on Chrome is you can and download, if you're using Chrome, whether it's on a laptop or desktop, or you're using a Chromebook, is extension manager. And extension manager will allow you to load and unload all those extensions and choose which extensions you want on and off that show up in your menu bar. Really powerful for kind of minimizing the distraction of having so many icons across the top. So you can manage those extensions. So if you go into more settings, more tools and extensions, you can manage the extensions there. But there's also an extension that you can get called Extensity that will allow you to be able to manage all those right from that menu item on the top of the screen or that toolbar. Optical character recognition is one of the key components in using making things digital and accessible. And basically what optical character recognition is, it's a technology that scans in printed material into a computer or mobile device and converts it into digital text. So it takes something that is inaccessible and it makes it accessible. On the iOS side, Prismo is a really, really powerful tool for that. And I'll cover that. But here, this is all in your handout, so don't worry about it. We're going fast at this point. I just want to make sure that it's covered. This is the Chrome OCR app, Snapverter, Cami, Copyfish, and Claro Cloud OCR. So I'm going to just show you what OCR does at this point. I'm going into Prismo. I can actually use my camera and snap a picture of the document and have that converted if I want to be able to do that. However, I've already scanned some in, so I'm going to grab those real quickly. This is one that I had scanned in earlier. You'll notice that the lighting is not optimal, and it's also on the side. So I'm going to rotate it, and let's rotate that again. So it's there we go. At this point, I'm going to tap on the top of the screen. I could do some adjustments for the lighting on that if I wanted to, but I don't need to. So I'm going to go to text. You'll notice on the right-hand side it says recognize text. I tap on that. It converts that all over into a digital format. Once it's digital format, there are a lot of things I can do with it. I can change the size, I can change the font, I can bring it into an app that will read it. I have a lot of different options at this point. On the bottom hand of the screen, the nice thing about Prismo is there's a reader feature that's built right into Prismo. Because it's digital, it'll read it. And so I tap on that and hit
Interpersonal communication and mindfulness. For our purposes within this book, we want to look.
Okay, so again, in digital format, we want to get things in a digital format. OCR will do that for us. Once it's in a digital format, we can do things like load in dyslexia fonts. For students that may have dyslexia, this is free. So if you go to opendyslexia.org, it goes across all platforms, whether it's Mac, PC, Android, iOS. You can download the fonts, the dyslexic fonts. It's a kind of a donationware site, so you can donate and download those apps. Text to speech, again, we talk about the text to speech. We really are looking at the ability to be able to take that digital format and have it read back to us. So text to speech converts text into a spoken voice output. There are a lot of apps that are out there that will do that. On the iOS, one of my favorite ones is called Voice Dream Reader, and I'll show you that in a second because I'll just show you what you can do with text once you get into it. On the Chrome side, there's Voice Read, Claro Read Chrome, Chromebook Speak It, and TTS Reader X in-page text to speech. So when I go into my Voice Dream Reader, here is a back page of a book that I've scanned in, and we'll see. So you can see what it looks like when it's scanned in. If I hit play at this point,
He posits that the newly discovered laws of outer space are actually.
So it's going to read it in a WYSIWYG format. So what you see is what you get. So it actually looks like the book. So if I wanted to be able to see it read that way, the other option I have is to have that converted over to plain text. So in the upper right hand corner, I have those two A's. I'm going to tap that into plain text. Now it's in a plain text. It's got the dyslexia font in it. And also I can change the color, the highlighting, and the background, whatever I
He
want.
posits that the newly discovered.
The other nice feature that I like on this is I can also do masking.
He posits that the newly discovered laws of outer space are actually within us as well, and that a new.
And there's a lot of different ways where I can control how it's read. So again, in a digital format, that really makes a big difference. Read and write is available for students. Some schools have a school license, but it provides a lot of supports for your information that's in a digital format. Gives you text-to-speech. It has a lot of study tools and highlighting tools to be able to get all your information. It's available across platforms. It's optimized for Microsoft Chrome, it's optimized for Chrome. It's free for teachers to download and use, and students can use it free for 30 days. And after that, it kind of stops some of those features, some of the other features, but it still keeps the text-to-speech feature in there, so it'll do that reading of text. Again, it works really, really well with Google and optimized for Google. Once it's in a digital format, there's also these summarization apps that will summarize text. So if you have a large amount of text, it'll summarize the document down so it's more digestible, easier for some of our students if it's in a condensed format. So this is the iOS, and these are the Chrome summarization apps that are available also. Word prediction apps will help those students in that writing process because they'll predict the next word as well as making sure that everything is spelled correctly. Co-writer, you've probably seen that quite a bit. Really, really nice support for that. I also like iWordQ on the iOS side. And then word prediction on the Chrome side, Clicker Docs and Co-writer again is also available. If you haven't, Bookshare is a great tool for students. It's the world's largest online library for accessible books for persons with print disabilities. All students need to do is to qualify for that, and they have access to the library. There's over 500,000 books in that collection, and a lot of textbooks are in there also. These are the apps that are used on the iOS to read those Bookshare books, and this is what's available on the Chrome. The other thing is you can create your own books. There are a lot of apps for creating your own books. Book Creator for the iPad, as well as Pages actually has book templates also that are available on the iOS as well as on the Mac platform. And there are also a lot of book creation apps that are available in Chrome, including Bookshare is also now available in that also. Digital format, there's a lot of note-taking apps that will get apps into note-taking. Organization apps, iStudies Pro is a great tool for students to organize themselves. There's Chrome. Other note-taking apps are Notability. Here's the note-taking apps that are available on Chrome, such as Evernote and Google Keep. Audio note-taking apps will allow you to be able to record a lecture and take notes also, and then review that later. And it's got a timestamp. On Chrome, it's called MicNote. Calendar apps, students to be able to digitally organize their lives. A lot of calendar apps that are out there on Google. Of course, Google Calendar is a great app for keeping track of that. A lot of resources out there. So here are some hardware and software resources, and here are some Chrome resources where you can find more information on Chrome apps.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP Education Program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.